My boss has me involved in concealing his numerous affairs from his wife. My supervisor is engaging in multiple extramarital affairs. As his assistant, I am privy to all his visitors and his schedule. Despite being married, he frequently entertains 2 different women, explicitly instructing me never to inform his wife about them. When either woman visits, he locks his door, insisting on no disturbances. This occurs almost weekly. Additionally, he occasionally requests me to book local hotel rooms for short durations, and he sporadically purchases jewelry and flowers for these 2 women, tasks I'm assigned to facilitate. Notably, he neglects to engage in such gestures for his wife. Remarkably, one of the women recently gave birth to a child bearing my boss's name and surname. On one occasion, when his wife unexpectedly dropped by for lunch, he instructed me to fabricate that the woman in his office was there for a job interview. Moreover, he submits inflated expenses from solo business trips, upgrading his accommodations and covering meals for more than one person, under the guise of having company. There was also a distressing incident where he mistakenly used his company credit card at a questionable establishment, tasking me to rectify the situation by settling the bill with cash at a different venue. Ordinarily, I wouldn't meddle in others' personal affairs, but I'm deeply troubled by my involvement in his deceit towards his wife, especially considering her recent surgery for a heart condition. It's evident they don't have an open relationship, as he consistently lies to her and coerces me to do the same. He insists she must remain unaware of his actions. The mere thought of his deception makes me physically ill. While I'm aware of a method to anonymously inform his wife, I'm conflicted. Should I disclose this information, or is it best for me to refrain from involvement? Update. 2 days following the publication of my letter, a tumultuous chain of events unfurled at my workplace. My boss was blindsided with divorce papers, served right here in the office. His wife, in a bold move, aired his infidelities to the public, disseminating copies of incriminating emails and text messages exchanged between him and not one, but 2 women he was having extramarital affairs with, along with evidence of his involvement with a regular escort. These revelations reached not only our office, including myself, but also his relatives, friends, and the circles of the women involved. The damning correspondence not only exposed his marital betrayal, but also confirmed his knowledge of his marital status while engaging in these affairs. Shockingly, they revealed his acknowledgement of fathering a child outside of his marriage and misappropriating funds from joint accounts and his wife's earnings to indulge his mistresses, along with other casual liaisons during his business travels. Subsequently, his wife initiated alienation of affection lawsuits against the 2 women and the escort, escalating the already explosive situation. Confrontations ensued, with all 3 women converging on our workplace to confront him after being served with lawsuit papers. I overheard their heated exchanges, punctuated by his feeble attempts to explain his wife's departure on the day of being served, and his lack of communication with her save through her legal representation, revealing a complete estrangement facilitated by his wife. Throughout this turmoil, I maintained a facade of ignorance, skillfully avoiding implication or suspicion from anyone, including his wife. Bolstered by the responses to my letter, I resolved to seek alternative employment. Providentially, an internal vacancy for a receptionist in a different division materialized the same week. Given my administrative classification and the nature of the role, I seamlessly transitioned without needing to undergo the arduous external application process. Now ensconced in my new role for 2 weeks, I revel in the bustling atmosphere, spending my days engaging with visitors and colleagues, sidestepping the monotony of endless screen time. The vibrant dynamics of a division housing over 100 individuals invigorate me, while the absence of after-hours obligations grants me a newfound work-life balance. Freed from the specter of my boss's personal turmoil, I relish the separation between work and home life, grateful for the tranquility it affords. Gratitude permeates my reflections, extended to both your insightful response and the supportive sentiments expressed in the comments section. Validation of my emotions alleviated any lingering doubts, affirming the legitimacy of my distress. Additionally, I must address speculations raised regarding my boss's financial conduct. Clarification is warranted. The separation of personal and business expenses, a standard protocol outlined in the company handbook, was diligently observed. Any expenditure scrutiny arose from adherence to policy rather than impropriety. Notably, the episode involving the company credit card at a massage parlor was swiftly rectified, in full compliance with company guidelines, obviating any repercussions. In conclusion, I stand poised on the precipice of a new chapter, fortified by newfound clarity and stability, eagerly embracing the promise of a brighter professional trajectory. Final update. My former boss was terminated from his position due to his involvement in multiple affairs with female colleagues, leading to confrontations and marital issues. His wife exposed a fourth woman for her involvement, causing her to leave the company despite not being fired like him. Some of the women are opting to settle with his wife instead of going to trial. Despite the drama, the workplace has now returned to a more peaceful atmosphere since both the boss and the woman he was involved with have left. Gossip about the affair has ceased, and I appreciate the tranquility as I continue to enjoy my job and the support of my colleagues. Additionally, my performance was acknowledged positively during my yearly review, resulting in a small bonus, which further adds to my satisfaction with my current position and team. Okay, next story. My elder sister, who ceased contact, provided me with a sobering reality check, plus the perspective of my elder sister. Nearly a decade ago, my older sister Jessie, who was 31 at the time, cut off contact with me and our family. I was just 13 then. I vividly remember the day my parents sat us down, my siblings and me, to break the news. They explained that Jessie had chosen to sever ties with us, citing her allegiance to Satan over family. It was devastating. I recall shedding tears, feeling abandoned by her. Following that conversation, my parents imposed a strict ban on discussing Jessie and removed all traces of her from our home. Over the ensuing months, my resentment towards her grew, fueled by the belief that she had betrayed us. In contrast, I remained fiercely loyal to my parents, immersing myself in Bible study and active participation in church activities to prove my allegiance. At 16, I married my current husband, and 6 months later, I became pregnant with our first child. However, the joy of impending motherhood was overshadowed by a traumatic at-home birth experience that left me teetering on the brink of death. Despite Jessie's attempts to visit me in the hospital, she was barred entry by my parents' security measures. Throughout the years, despite Jessie's persistent efforts to reach out, I rebuffed her advances, convinced that she had strayed from the faith. Now, at 23, a mother of 4 daughters, I unexpectedly encountered Jessie at an eye doctor's appointment. Conflicted emotions surged within me. Part of me longed to embrace her, but years of conditioning held me back. Despite her attempts at small talk, I remained distant. Eventually, she handed me a card with her contact information, urging me to hear her side of the story. After days of internal struggle, I agreed to meet her, seeking closure. What she revealed shattered my preconceptions. She divulged her harrowing ordeal of abuse at the hands of her ex-husband, whom she had been unable to divorce due to church restrictions. Her account clashed with my perception, as her ex-husband had remarried without any visible signs of abuse. In a heated exchange, I accused her of apostasy and deception, clinging to the teachings instilled in me. However, Jessie's words struck a nerve, forcing me to confront uncomfortable truths about my upbringing and the religion I had devoutly followed. Her assertion that I was a victim, trapped in a cycle of indoctrination, resonated deeply. As doubts gnawed at me, I delved into online forums and stories, grappling with the possibility that my entire belief system was built on falsehoods. Amidst this turmoil, I find myself questioning the foundations of my marriage and my husband's role in it. Was he complicit in my indoctrination, or was he himself a victim? Uncertainty clouds my mind, and the prospect of unraveling these truths is both daunting and painful. Yet the desire for clarity persists, fueled by the realization that I owe it to myself and my daughters to break free from the shackles of indoctrination, even if the journey is fraught with uncertainty. Edit. Thank you to everyone for the feedback. I've carefully reviewed all the comments and would like to address a few recurring questions. Firstly, I'm hesitant to disclose the specific church I attend as I'm unsure if anyone on Reddit may be monitoring, and I prefer not to take any risks. Secondly, regarding my husband, I want to clarify that he is not abusive towards me or our daughters. He has never been physically violent. However, due to his demanding work schedule of 60 hours per week, our time together has become quite limited lately. Regarding my sister, she did reach out with a follow-up text after our conversation, expressing her apologies for being blunt. I haven't responded yet as I'm still processing everything and feeling overwhelmed with where to begin. Additionally, I want to address any concerns that my initial post may have come across as victim blaming. That was never my intention, and I apologize if it was interpreted that way. Comment on the original post. Hey, it's Jesse. I'm glad you took my advice and did some research and looked at subreddits about everything I told you like 2 weeks ago. It is a shame that you never responded to me and did not follow up on anything. I really wish you would just talk to me. However, like I've been saying this entire time, I would help you and my nieces in any way to get you out of the situation. Still, your actions, however, have made it seem like you are not interested given how much detail you have conveniently left out regarding our parents, your husband, and the reason why I left. Because your husband is 35 years old? I have no idea why you made him younger in these comments. Also, maybe you do not know, but Mom and Dad had him picked out for you prior to him even asking to court you. Right when you were only 13, his name was being thrown out as a suitor for you, so IDK why you made it seem like it's a women's choice in the comments when it never is, and you know that. I know you know the organization is wrong because you refuse to answer a lot of questions in these comments, and how you conveniently left out a lot of things. I love you. But I hope you wake up soon and stop purposefully being delusional and protect my nieces from the men in the organization. You know the same men that protected the guy that molested you, and I was the only person that believed you? I know you know deep down that they deserve better lives. I know you are a victim of the organization and suffered probably way more than me at this point. Our parents failed us both and never protected us, and I wish more than anything I could have protected you better and taken you with me when I left. Again, I love you. Please don't become like our parents. Second post. I saw that my sister posted here, and the post gathered a lot of traction, so I thought it would be necessary to share my side I'm Jessie in her story, and I commented on her post. I don't remember her exact username. But I'm here to offer a bit of better context. My little sister is in a religious cult that she's willingly participating in, and in my opinion, putting my nieces in potential harm's way. I know she sees me as some devil that was sent by Satan to tempt her, but I'm most definitely not that. I'm not going to say what church to protect my sister, however. She should face some accountability given she's an adult now. But to start from the beginning, we come from a big family of 8 siblings, total of 6 boys, and the other 2, which are me and my sister. I pretty much raised my siblings being the 3rd oldest, especially my younger sister, and it kind of hurt that she brushed past that in her post. But moving on, I looked after her and my siblings until I was married off, which was when I was 18, and it would probably be 16 if I wasn't firm about finishing high school, but I didn't want to get married. And the only reason why I married my ex-husband was because he was the only suitor at the time in the religion. That was okay about me continuing my studies and go to college. I regret that now, given he was lying, he got me pregnant right away and was an abuser. I'm not going to go into detail, but he would have most likely killed me or my son if it wasn't for me leaving when I did. My son was also the main factor in why I left, so it's baffling to me that my sister has 4 daughters and does not ever have the urge to leave. Instead, continued to listen to these same men who told me I needed to stay with my abuse, because it was a testament from God that I needed to get through it with my husband. Then my birth givers, honestly, they should be in jail if you ask me. Especially my father. He's a shit person. I saw him fist fight with my brothers regularly back when he was like 200 pounds, and my brothers were like 80 pounds. He has never hit me personally, but I have seen him quite literally knock the wind out of my mother, and we were conditioned to think that was normal, and it wasn't. I know my sister is not going to like me bringing in our parents because the way her life is now is thanks to them. But I mean, it has its benefits because she's probably the golden child for them. Because she's not the difficult child and is the one who does what she's told. Now her husband, he's 35 years old. So yes, he was 28 marrying a 16-year-old. Before you ask, how is that legal? In my awful state, you can get married at 16 with parental permission. And on top of that, the age of consent is 16 years old. So everything was legal. I remember when I first heard she was getting married to her husband, I tried everything in my power to stop the marriage from going through, I got the police involved and they were absolutely useless. Because of the First Amendment, and on top of that, they privately interviewed my little sister and she basically said she's not being forced to do anything against her will, so there's nothing the cops could do. I still get mad at this situation to this day. Luckily, her husband is not abusive. She got extremely lucky there. But he's still horrible in my opinion. It's absolutely ridiculous how she has either been pregnant or had a baby on her hip the entirety of their marriage so far. She couldn't finish high school because of the lack of help with the baby, plus he nearly killed my sister when he pushed for an at-home birth knowing she had preeclampsia, and he also threatened me with a restraining order when I tried to go see her in the hospital. Now back to our conversation 2 weeks ago. You really hurt me when you didn't believe me about my abuse. Like I was honestly devastated that you would believe a man who signed his rights away as a father to protect his image than me, your sister. But I also know you're extremely naive and have been severely brainwashed, so I'm not mad at you. But I was indeed hurt by you. Given everything you ever told me, I believed you, without any hesitation. Also, when you didn't want to bring your daughters to meet my kids, that hurt me also. Especially seemingly, you didn't want to acknowledge my kids when we met up. I'm saying this because I want you to know that your actions do have cause and effect on other people, because I don't think you understand that fully. I hate that I have resorted to a Reddit post to get your freaking attention. But maybe once you see the countless people in here saying the same thing, maybe you would realize I'm on your side, and I've always been on your side. The people in that organization only care about you and your family because you have daughters and you're still willing to pop more kids out for them and blindly follow them. Again, I will repeat myself. I will help you if you let me. But as of right now, you're not letting me. Update. I'm truly grateful for the support and attention this matter has received, leading to my sister finally engaging with me. However, the outcome of our conversation wasn't what I had hoped for. After a lengthy 3-hour phone call today, it became evident that my sister is not willing to leave her husband, although she desires to break away from the religious community. She's hopeful that, given time, she might persuade her husband to accompany her on this journey. Personally, I doubt he'll abandon the church, but she remains optimistic. When I pressed her about leaving regardless of his decision, she didn't provide a clear answer, only expressing a desire to wait until after the baby is born, as she's currently pregnant. I must admit I'm disappointed. It feels like she's evading the issue. I apologize for not delivering the update you all were expecting. It's disheartening to confront someone so deeply entrenched in their beliefs, especially when they perceive me as an adversary of sorts. While I'm tempted to escalate the situation by involving authorities, such as my social worker friend and CPS, I've decided to refrain from such actions for now. I need some time to compose myself, but it's frustrating to face resistance when trying to reason with someone who sees me as an agent of evil due to their indoctrination. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you,